Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of my Recreating Sheikra and Planet Coaster series. This time, we will be finishing up the custom supporting process and discussing more news from theme parks across the United States. So let's just jump right into this. Okay, so now we are in the game, and as I said earlier, we will continue to work on some custom supporting. I will not be doing any of the splashdown or working on any of the custom supporting for the turnaround over the smokehouse. That will be in the next episode, but we will start where we left off last time with supporting the Immelman. So let's talk about some coaster news while we build. Starting off at Busch Gardens Tampa with Phoenix Rising. The ride has been moving quickly and making very fast progress with construction. Just a couple weeks ago, all the vertical construction was finished with the track and supports. When I visited, about a week ago, the ride had its roof fully installed on the station building, as well as what looked like either some weather stripping or a coat of primer on it. The lift motor and chain does not appear to be installed yet, but I imagine that those will come in a later period of construction. But as for good testing news, it appears that some forms are beginning to go up on some of the footers to prepare for the final installation of the last bit of concrete that needs to go in. Once that concrete has been poured and set, the forms will be removed and the bolts will be finally tightened down and sealed off with a wax seal, and then the ride can start testing. So it appears to be getting pretty close to opening soon. And in good news, on the monthly passholder rewards section of the Busch Gardens website, it was advertised that passholder previews for Phoenix Rising would take place in May. Unfortunately, though, they have been moved back to June, but it is good to know that they have already set down a month for passholder previews, which gives us a good gauge for when a possible opening date for Phoenix could be, which will hopefully be late June. Now, over at SeaWorld Orlando, Penguin Trek has continued to see construction progress, finally, in the fact that the ride is finally testing. Like, the final forms and bolts were tightened down and poured like a few weeks ago, and then the ride just sat there. It looked like they were doing some work on the inside, but we couldn't tell. And finally now, they are beginning to test the ride. Looks like pretty frequently. Not every day, but most days it appears. And I have to say, from watching it, while the ride is a family coaster, it really appears to pull some pretty good forces through the layout. Looks like it's going to have some nice whip, and it definitely hauls. Although I will say, for some reason, it is extremely loud. Like, I'm not quite sure why it's as loud as it is. Because it is a family coaster, it's not as intense. You wouldn't expect it to be as loud. But honestly, it sounds just about as loud as Kraken, which is a hard feat to do. But it might just be because they didn't put sand in the track or the supports. For now, we are going to be skipping Universal, because they just released a lot of information on some new projects coming to them. But let's head up to Cedar Point and talk about Top Throw 2. The previews have begun. I believe pass holder previews, or the first round of them, happened yesterday. And then the Prayers for Maria preview happened on, I believe, Saturday it was. And unfortunately, of course, I'm in Florida. I did not get the chance to attend. But from watching the webcams and some different people's vlogs, it looks like the ride is really good. It's going to absolutely haul through that course. From what I'm hearing, it's actually running faster than the original Top Throw 2. as far as the way it's taking the top hat and different elements. And it also sounds like it's going to pull some pretty good G-forces on the ascent and descent out of the 2 420-foot tall towers. So overall, it looks like it's going to be an awesome ride. Those restraints look super comfortable. I'm glad there's no seat belts. Obviously, I'm just talking about this from, like, speculation and all of that, and not really, like, this is not my opinion. I have not been on the ride yet, but I should be going on the ride soon, as in, like, hopefully in June-ish time. I don't have the dates locked down completely yet, but hopefully by the time that another 1 or 2 of these Planet Coaster videos comes out, we'll have been on Top Thrill 2 and Phoenix and Penguin Trek, so I can give you guys my thoughts on the rides. Another project out of Florida that has been recently opened was Iron Menace at Dorney Park. This is a new generation B&M dive coaster. It's one of the narrow track dives, and yeah, it looks like a really fun ride. It's different from the other dive coasters. Like, a lot of them aren't quite as inversion focused. So, like, Sheikra only has 1 inversion. Valraven has, I think, 3. And this one, I think, has 4. Which, I mean, that's not that much more than 3, but 4 is really all that it has. Those 4 inversions and the drop, and it leads right into the drop. So, like, Sheikra turns, Iron Menace just comes up, levels out, and then hangs you and drops you down that 95-degree drop. So it looks like a really fun ride, although watching some of the POVs and off-rides, it does appear to have a pretty bad shuffle to it. Like I did Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger, and yeah, that had a pretty bad shuffle to it. So it wouldn't surprise me to know that Iron Menace did as well. But regardless, it still looks like an awesome coaster, and the theming looks pretty good as well. Dorney Park definitely put in some time and effort and dedicated themselves to making that new area that they built look nice. And yeah, their work paid off. It looks great. Now, as for Epic Universe, we got another land announcement about a month or so ago, and that was for How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. This is the new How to Train Your Dragon land coming to Epic. It's one of the 5 lands, one of the 4 portal lands coming. And I am a big fan of the How to Train Your Dragon series, and holy crap, this looks like a How to Train Your Dragon paradise. It looks so accurate to the Berk in the movies. And this is a very controversial opinion, and I have a lot of those. Honestly, I'm most excited for How to Train Your Dragon land. Like, I think that is the land out of everything that I'm most excited for. Just because ever since I started watching the series, I've always wanted to go and see Berk and see the dragons and everything, and it looks like more than we could ever ask for. The reveal that's going to be there coming through the portal looks amazing. Hiccup's Wing Gliders, which is the name of the new Intamin Family launch coaster. That coaster looks like a lot of fun, especially with all the interaction with the lake and the different elements of the land. And then we have Dragon Racers Rally, which is, I think it's by Gerstlauer. The Skyfly model, which I've never actually done one of those, so I'm interested to try it. I'll probably make myself sick trying to get a bunch of flips, but, you know, whatever. There's Fire Drill, which is a mock boat battle, kind of like the Legend of Chima ride that used to be at Legoland, and I really enjoyed that ride as well. Just, the one at Legoland, it didn't really work all that well. Like, it had some major issues, was constantly down. So I'm hoping the Fire Drill is pretty reliable. And then we have the Untrainable Dragon. It's an adapted show from the version that is over in Beijing. And holy crap, does that look like a phenomenal show. The puppeteering and the different animatronics that go into making that show real, along with the actors and songs, it just looks like an amazing show, and I seriously can't wait to get to see it and experience it, especially that massive toothless animatronic that flies over the crowd. We also have the Great Hall, which is a massive dining experience / restaurant type thing, and it looks just like the Great Hall in Berk in How to Train Your Dragon, in at least the later movies. So that is definitely one of my most highly anticipated places to eat. I'm interested to see what the menu is going to be like, and also just to see how absolutely massive that restaurant is inside. Hopefully, they do it justice to the real one in the movies. And then we have a couple of outside eateries. I believe one's called like Fire Eater's Grill or something, and then Grog and Gruel. And then I love the name of the sweet shop, which is How to Treat Your Dragon. Just, I don't know, I think that's pretty funny and creative, so I don't know, I just find that to be absolutely phenomenal. And then we have the Haddock Paddock, which is where you will be able to meet Toothless and Hiccup. I'm interested to see how they do Toothless, because the raptor encounter is absolutely amazing, at least the time that I did it. Absolutely loved it, so I'm interested to see how they do Toothless. And apparently we're gonna get like walk around characters of Stormfly as well, and maybe some of the other dragons. And then the kids interactive play structure looks very similar to what's it called over in Islands? Hold on, Camp Jurassic. There we go. Camp Jurassic over in Islands of Adventure. But honestly, I'll also go in that little area just to see the theming, because like I said, I'm a big fan of How to Train Your Dragon, and it would be awesome to go in there and see just the level of theming that they put into just their family area as well. A little bit later in the video, we'll come and talk a little bit more about Epic Universe, specifically Super Nintendo World, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's head over to the regular parks now and talk about some of the new summer offerings that have been announced. So first of all, DreamWorks Land has been announced to be opening officially on June 14th of this year. Now, I believe I will be gone, or I will be coming back on June 14th, so I don't think I'm going to get to attend opening day, but hopefully they do have some pass holder previews and soft openings before then that I'm able to attend to check it out, because that land looks really awesome. I kind of talked about some of the, like, what is in that land in an earlier episode, but the Troller Coaster looks cute. It's just a reskin of Woody Woodpecker. Shrek's Swamp, his house, looks absolutely amazing and super realistic to the movies. Some of the other Shrek stuff, like Mama Luna's cat sanctuary and the singing frogs, look awesome. I'm super excited to try the waffles at the Shrek stand and find out what a Shrekzel is. I'd be interested to try one or two of the popsicles from the Trolls Boombox thing. And then the Kung Fu Panda area looks awesome, with a different theming and the interactive Poe area inside. So I'm super excited for that land to open, more just for the exploration part of it than anything. Just to, like, get to see it and just get to see, like, what they have done. Like, we haven't had a major new land expansion in quite a while, honestly, from Universal. We've gotten, major attractions new, and of course Minion Land, but a lot of that was just a kind of a reskin of what's there. This is like an entirely new, highly themed area of the park that we're getting with DreamWorks Land. So it'll be interesting to see just like how it is from the ground level. And then over in the lagoon, we finally got the announcement for the name of the new lagoon show, and I hate the name. This name is, like, just ridiculous. It's called Cinesational, a Symphonic Spectacular. Talk about a mouthful. Yeah, the name, a little excessive there, Universal, but, whatever. So it's gonna have a bunch of, like the fountains like the lake used to have, and the projections, but what's gonna set this show apart from their older lagoon shows, and even the ones at Disney, is drones. So instead of fireworks, they're going to have drones, apparently over 600 of them. So this is going to be a very exciting show. I'm very interested to see how the drones are implemented, how that technology is used, because I got to see the drone show at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, when I attended rodeo there, and that was amazing. That was the first time I saw drones implemented in a theme park. Unfortunately, when I went to Dollywood over Christmas time, I did miss their drone show there, trying to get some rides in, but having a drone show like an hour away from home is just awesome. And then that is also opening on June 14th, and the other new addition opening on June 14th is over in Islands of Adventure, that being Hogwarts Always, which is going to be the new nighttime castle show. Apparently it's going to involve and showcase some important moments in like a school year at Hogwarts. So that should be very interesting. I only ever got to watch the nighttime castle show for Christmas time from Hagrid's. Like, we broke down on Hagrid's on the launch coming out of the hut just long enough to watch the castle show, and then the ride started again. So talk about some pretty good luck. But I mean, that's it. That's all I've seen. I haven't gotten to see the dark arts or the normal one, or even get up close to the Christmas one. I just saw it from a distance. So it's going to be super exciting to, like, just see a new show, see what it's about, finally get to experience the castle show. At least for me. And then on July 3rd, we are getting Universal Mega Movie Parade with, I believe, over 16 floats, including Jaws, Jurassic World, Back to the Future, I believe Harry Potter, Trolls, Sing, among others. I believe Ghostbusters will also be in there, which is just going to be super, like, I'm excited to see it, but I'm also a little bit annoyed from it because I always seem to have bad luck with getting trapped by the parades whenever I'm trying to go do something. So, like, the Christmas parade, I always get, like, trapped in a doorway or in Haagen-Dazs or something when I'm trying to go either ride rides or get to a dinner reservation. So, I'm excited to see the parade, but I'm not really excited about the congestion it's going to cause on the pathways or the route it's going to take to close the pathways, but that's okay. It's still going to be a super cool parade, and the floats should be awesome, because Universal always does a really good job with the company that they hire to build their floats for them. So this summer has a lot of new additions. They're not, like, besides DreamWorks Land, they're not nothing, like, major. They're not a major new attraction. Even DreamWorks Land is a revamp of what used to be there, but at least that's a new land. Everything else is new shows, new entertainment, which that in and of itself is awesome, because that means that Universal is not shying away from the entertainment department or trying to cut back to save money. It means that they are still interested in doing nighttime spectaculars and parades and entertainment of that such. And then, of course, we're going to have the summer tribute store, which I think is going to have, like, Jaws, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, maybe E.T. or something. So that's going to be very exciting. It sounds very similar to one that we had. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year, but I don't remember for sure. No, it was the year before. The cinema one with Jaws, E.T., or I don't even remember if it was E.T. I don't quite remember what was in there. But it was 3 different rooms based off of classic movies. So it sounds very similar to that one, but that's okay. It should be at least different enough to differentiate between the two, and still be an awesome walkthrough experience, especially if they have it in the Hollywood section where the tribute stores have been more recently, because those tribute stores have been the best that Universal has ever created, in my opinion. Now, why don't we head over to Epic Universe, because actually just today, as of the day that I'm recording this, they have announced all the details for Super Nintendo World. So this land is the 3rd announcement for Epic Universe as far as the lands go. And at least as far as the ones in Hollywood and Japan, these look to be absolutely amazing. Like, just the level of theming and everything that Universal has poured into these lands, and the immersion, the fact that you can't see anything outside of the walls of that land is just amazing. So, in the actual Super Mario area of Super Nintendo World, we of course have Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, which is that augmented reality Mario Kart track dark ride that Universal has added in both Hollywood and Japan. We have Yoshi's Adventure, which is going to be a family Omnimover style dark ride, where I think I understood the story. Basically, we're going to be riding in Yoshi and looking around for his different, like, eggs throughout the ride, and we'll see different villains and stuff. I'm not quite sure the entire story of the Yoshi ride, but it looks like a super cute ride and a lot of fun, and kind of like an upgraded version of the People Mover or the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley that we have over in Islands. There is also Toadstool Cafe, which is the main dining location there in Super Nintendo World. Looking at the menu in Japan and in Hollywood, I hope that we get a combination of both menus, because there are items on both menus that look absolutely amazing, but on their own, both menus don't really stand out. But if we were to take some of the best items from Japan and some of the best items from Hollywood and combine them, then we could probably have the best Toadstool Cafe here in Orlando. Also, you have your power-up bands and your key challenges for those. And there was one that I didn't know about, which was the Bomb Challenge. If someone would let me know if that's in Hollywood and Japan, I don't honestly know. I know about the Goomba Challenge, where you gotta knock the Goomba off the rolling log, and the pain in the butt Piranha Plant Timer Challenge that requires a couple of people, and then the timing challenge with the power-up POW block, where you have to get the shell on the POW block and up the warp pipe at, like, the right time or something. But I didn't know about the bomb, which is where you have to, like, collect all the pieces of a key before the bomb goes off or something. And then if you collect 3 keys, and you can do that in any order of them, like, you can do 3 of one challenge, 3 different challenges, 2 in 1, whatever. You can go and play Bowser Jr.'s Shadow Showdown, which is a game where you basically get to go and battle Bowser Jr. using your power-up bands and different, like, shadow interactivities. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. And then, of course, we have the 1-Up Store and Mario Motors. Mario Motors is the exit to the Mario Kart ride. And then I'm not sure if the 1-Up Store just its own standalone store, or if that's going to be the exit for, like, Yoshi or something. And then, of course, you will enter in on the second level. This one will be done with escalators. So in Hollywood and Japan, they built it using the terrain. So when you exit on the second level, this one you will go up a bank of escalators in the warp pipe and exit through Peach's Castle on the second level. This is another one of those lands where, actually, I imagine all the lands will be like this, but I think mostly Dragons and this one will have the best reveals coming out of those portal pipes, because we already know what Super Nintendo World's reveal is going to look like, or something similar from the Japan version. And we've seen some concept art for the How to Train Your Dragon area, of course. So those reveals look to be absolutely amazing. Then as you head towards the back of the Mario section of Super Nintendo World, you will head into Donkey Country. I know that there's some more interactive I think there's an interactive play structure, maybe, or something. You'll probably be able to meet Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong. I know you can meet Mario, Luigi, probably Peach, and we might get Toad here as well, over in the Mario section. But the main headlining attraction, the main reason most people are going to be back in Donkey Kong Country, I think, besides to explore it, is Donkey Kong Minecart Madness, which is Universal's quote-unquote boom coaster, which is where you have your false track on top, your real track hidden below with an arm extending up to the minecart you're riding in. So it looks like your minecart is jumping the tracks. From the videos I've seen of testing in Japan, it looks pretty realistic. Now, of course, all of these have been from the air and none from the ground, so from the air you can see part of the boom sticking up, but I'll be interested to see not only from videos from the ground in Japan, but also from physically experiencing it in Orlando's version of Super Nintendo World, how well these boom arms are hidden. Because if they're not done right, it's going to look awkward and weird, but if it's done right, it's going to look spectacular and phenomenal. And just overall, to me, Super Nintendo World is a land that I've been very excited just in general to see. It's not really, like, one that I'm super highly anticipated for. So, basically, my rankings for most anticipated Epic Universe lands, at the top, of course, we have Isle of Berk, then Dark Universe, 3 would be Celestial Park, 4, Super Nintendo World, and honestly, my least anticipated is Harry Potter, just because we've seen 2 other Harry Potter lands, and I don't really know how different this is going to be. Like, obviously, it's going to be different with the French Parisian-style architecture, but we've seen similar stuff to the Potter concepts before. Whereas we've seen nothing at least here in Florida for Super Nintendo World, or How to Train Your Dragon, or Dark Universe. So it's going to be very exciting, but I just can't wait for Epic Universe in general. And even if I go in on my first visit and I only get on, let's say, Starfall Racers and like 1 or 2 other dark rides because the lines are just too long, but I get to explore, or at least go and see every land and begin to explore the new park, I would not be upset at all. Because not only am I looking forward to riding these brand new, groundbreaking attractions with amazing theming and special effects, I'm honestly most interested to see a new theme park. We have not had a new theme park of this caliber from the ground up in a long time. And just being able to go in and explore and see and admire is going to be amazing. But that's all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time on another adventure.